What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 15 of The Meetup. My name is Nia Gibson. I'm here with Johnny Pace.
Hey, Nia, how you doing?
I'm good. We're missing somebody, but have no fear. She's here, just remote in Oregon. Currently, Demetra is kind of on her Oregon road trip right now. She still will be hosting with us. So here she is. What's up, Demetra?
Hey, I'm our Oregon residency is in full effect. We had NCAAs and now we have Nike Outdoor Nationals coming up. So I'm a Eugene resident for the next couple weeks.
Oh, we love that. How's it been out there? How was the Hayward Magic?
You know, it was magicking. We are going to dive into NCAAs, but we saw a few records go down, and I love when a collegiate record goes down. I
Oh,
feel like
don't we
that's like,
just?
especially at NCAAs, that's like peak athleticism. Like you've been working for this moment and you broke a record while you're at it. So it was definitely a fun time. I know y'all were watching back home and then you had diamond leagues, all the things. We're going to dive into everything, but I first want to talk about Grand Slam track.
Yeah.
We all saw the announcement, where basically LA is no more. So I kind of want to talk to y'all about what were your initial reactions and kind of where do you see track and field going from here?
That one hit very hard. That was very disappointing news to I think the rumors started to kind of trickle in before we got it fully confirmed. And we're going to miss you, Grand Slam in 2025. But fingers crossed. Let's hope we can figure it out for next year. I think they will. But what did you think, Nia? How'd you take it?
I think it was a gut punch for sure. I think what Grand Slam has done for the sport so far, even just within 3 meets, has been amazing. It's been extraordinary. I think it really set a precedent for athletes and just the sport of athletics moving forward, that this is the standard that we're holding you guys to. Because again, reminder, we are running records, doing things with our bodies that the average human being couldn't even think about doing, let alone actually doing. And they should be paid as such. They should be treated as such. There's a certain level of celebrity status that they should be receiving. And I think Grand Slam really set the bar high. That's like, it should have been like that from jump, especially with these types of athletes. So, I mean, it's a startup company, or startup business, I should say. And I think I'm going to hope that for the 2026 season, that these mistakes don't turn into regrets and they just turn into learning lessons, and it's just a successful season come 26, and maybe even have more than 4 meets. So yeah,
I'm sure we're going to find out more. What did you think, Demetra?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that a lot of people as like fans took it as like, oh, like they're failing, they're broke. That's literally not the case. Like that's not what they said. That's not what it was. So I'm pretty confident that 2026, they said it's going to happen, so it will happen. I'm excited to see. I think I'm leaning more towards like what the changes will be, because I think this inaugural year was so good, and I got to go to Kingston and Miami, and I know, Nia, you got to go to Philly, but I think like seeing how successful it was in that way, the fact that people were so excited for something new in track and field, I'm really excited to see how they keep going on that trajectory upward. I'm also looking forward to see what cities they do. Like, do they double back to LA? Like, is that where they start off with? Because I think a lot of people are looking forward to LA. Do they skip a city this time? Like, I heard there's rumors of Europe. Like, so I'm really curious to see what the changes are. It does make me a little sad. I did have FOMO selfishly that I wasn't going to LA. Johnny, I think it was you.
Yeah.
And I love LA. So I am selfishly happy that I'm not missing anything now. But yeah, it should be. I'm a little sad, but I'm confident they'll figure it out for 2026.
yeah. Like Grand Slam was so fun. It gave me like NBA All-Star, but track and field.
Yeah.
So
It was the most, I think, excitement we'd seen, especially in American track and field, in a long time. There was just so much enthusiasm kind of about this new format. And like you said, I think they've raised the bar. The product works. Like, yes, there was questions of, stadium, but like by the time Philly rolled around, I think the stadium issue was completely taking, great energy from what I could tell. The broadcast was getting better and better each time. It works, and the names obviously speak for themselves. So we're rooting for their success for sure. I'm definitely disappointed. Yeah, like you said, Demetra, I was getting ready to pack that bag and head over to LA, I think, next week. So I think there's a lot of wind out of the sails, I guess, from people that were really excited for that grand finale. I think that's the way it was looking, was like an amazing finale in Los Angeles. So it is disappointing for sure, but I'm sure they did not make that decision lightly, and I'm sure they're doing that.
Of course not. Michael Johnson, at the end of the day, he's a competitor, one of the greatest competitors in the sport. So I'm sure this is not like, this is just minor setback. Crazy comeback is loading.
Yeah.
So I really don't expect anything less for 2026.
I love it. Let's go right into NCAAs.
Let's do it.
There's not much more to talk about for Grand Slam, but when it's back on the circuit again, just know we're going to talk about on the meetup. But NCAAs, we saw 3 collegiate records go down, all by women, which I'm selfishly excited about. We saw Hannah Mole break her twin sister's pole vault record, which honestly, that's fun. I feel like to see them both like finish in the top 3 at NCAAs. She went 4.79. That's them in the middle. On the right, we have Doris. She was a 3,000 meter steeplechaser, broke her own record. What I do want to note is that Lexi from BYU, who got second, also broke the collegiate record. She was just 10 seconds behind Doris.
Oh my gosh.
But Doris like demolished it. It was already her record to her own, but she killed it. And then we had Savannah Sutherland. She broke Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni's record with a 52.46 on the left side of the screen. And what's important to note, the runners on the right and left, like, although they run fast, they're still shocked. Like, it's still like, oh my God, I just ran this fast. So honestly, we can start with whoever, but I'll throw it back to y'all. Which moment stood out to you? I'll say the most. They're all notable, so it's hard to pick one.
The first thing that jumped out to me when you're saying that Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni's records are going down, to me that screams that's a serious performance. I think Sydney obviously being one of the greatest to ever do it. That's pretty incredible that you could break a record, especially only a few years after she was out of the NCAA. But how about you, Nia? What'd you like?
I think this was a selfish pick for sure, but I think Doris Lemgale's record going down, like her own record, and the way she kind of shattered it. The standard that she sets for 3,000 meter steeplechase is ridiculous. The fact that she was able to, so coming into this meet, she broke it at regionals by, I think, more than 20 plus seconds. And I didn't know that. I knew that she could go faster, but I didn't think she can demolish it to that extent, to go under 9 minutes in a 3,000 meter steeplechase. She was my pick, like, for all y'all who don't know.
And the girl who got second
I'm
also
having John delete that article of our predictions,
Yes.
by the way. It can't see the light of day.
Yes, because selfishly, I love that because it was, we had staff predictions and stuff of who's going to break a record, who's going to do it, and what event they're going to do. And I was like, oh, Doris got this down packed. Just like the trajectory that she's been on, kind of, not even since the beginning of outdoor, but indoor, she was going, like, a lot of her records are going down. She was running top 5 all times in indoor 5Ks, indoor 3Ks, things of that nature. This was just the writing on the wall. I don't think it was a surprise to anyone, but it's extraordinary nonetheless because of, I think, the ceilings that she's breaking as she's running these times. So that one, I was like, wow.
Roll Tide, baby.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. I think Doris, the way, like, it's one thing to break a record and second place isn't in the screen, and they also broke the record. Like, her fast is like another level. It's insane. And I think she's also very humble about it too. Like, interviewing her, like, she doesn't love interviews.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it was either her coach or her media person from Alabama with her. I don't know which one, but she was like, this is the best that she's interviewed. And I was like, Doris, you can't run fast and not expect me not to want to talk to you. Like, that's not how, like, run slower, maybe I won't, but like, no, like, you are a record holder and you did it in such a way that's like, it's like amazing. So she was definitely a fun one to watch.
Well,
and then I have to go back to Savannah. Savannah, I feel like, doesn't get the credit that she deserves. When she won NCAAs a year or two ago, Britton Wilson was out and everybody was like, oh, well, she won because Britton wasn't there. So I think for her to come back in this fashion, win during her last year and break a record, like, put some respect on Savannah's name. That's what it's giving. And I'm glad that she got this record. And I know Sydney's name's attached to it, but I think Savannah in her own right is, like, she's one to, like, you should have been watching her. But the fact that she was able to come away with this win in a record, kudos to her. She's a 2-time national champion. This is not her first rodeo.
Were you going to say something?
No.
Yeah, I thought Johnny had to say something.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, no, I really couldn't agree more. Her dominance as well, because if you look at like a close-up shot of her running, you didn't see anyone in second place. I think Kayla Garrett came second, right?
And Kayla ran good. I mean, probably she didn't PB or anything, but she ran well.
She ran a solid race. She ran a very solid race, especially kind of after like a bit of a lackluster 100 hurdles. She was able to kind of refocus and then get that runner up in the 400-meter hurdle final. So, I mean, yeah, these records going down, these times these women are running, it's just.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We have to talk about a mini viral moment, men's 4x4. Nia, I know you were in the comments.
Yeah. That chokehold.
Yes, there's this chokehold. And mind you, this is right after he crosses the line. His teammate runs to celebrate, but this is what happens. So the image that you don't see after this, they end up on the ground. It's insane. The guy who's getting choked got DQ'd earlier in the 400, I believe, for stepping on the line, which is like one of those DQs that you don't realize you're DQ'd until after the race and it pops up on the thing. So they said it was to like celebrate him, and we did this 4x4 to win for him. But this chokehold's crazy. So yeah, what are y'all thoughts?
Man, okay. There's a lot of thoughts circulating in my head. Before we get to the emotional part, let's get to the physical first. When you are finished running a 400, your body is hurting, you're out of breath, the booty lock's crazy, the lactic acid's everywhere. It almost feels like your teeth are hurting.
Yeah.
And then here comes your teammate who probably lifts just as much, if not more than you, chokehold around you. You're still out of breath. Like, this was moments after he crossed the line and walked down Ahmad Robinson of Texas A&M, and it just was like you can't breathe, and it's kind of like you see it in his face where he's happy he crossed the line first, but he's like, oh wait, I'm a little concerned about my life right now.
Right.
Like, you see it all throughout his face, and then I'm sure the emotional aspect jumps in there. Like, okay, yeah, I won and my teammates happy for me, but at first I was like, wait a minute, before we get like see something that we don't need to see on national television, let go.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, it's insane. I was like, do y'all have beef or something? Like, I had to ask. I was like, explain this photo to me, but I completely agree. It was definitely fun for the moment, but I'm glad I did ask if he's okay. He said yes. It was very quiet. I don't know if he's a soft-spoken person, but he did say yes. So he's okay. But I know if I was tired crossing a line, to be brought down to the ground involuntarily.
By your neck?
I would have beef with my teammate for the rest of the day. So I respect it.
Little UFC action going on there.
Yeah, I mean, like, he ran up on him like it was UFC or like WWE. I'd say more so WWE. You run through the ring and just.
Well, because he had the momentum of crossing the line, and then you have the momentum of him coming in. Like, it was a lot of momentum.
And then momentum from the excitement, because I don't even know if they expected themselves to win, because we all know how Texas A&M gets down in that 4x4, especially we all know, like, when Ahmad gets that baton, you don't want to be on the opposing side.
No.
So I don't even know if they were expecting that. And I think that excitement was just.
I think he gets a hall pass for the first time he does it. You know, a little NCAA title. Like, you can understand. Second time, maybe we'll have to have a conversation.
Might see him fight on the track. I don't know if we want to see a second. We'll see a little scuffle.
No. Man, listen.
I love it. On the same note of things that were kind of very exciting, I had to bring up Jamisha Ford. Side note, announcers say Jamisha, so there's a small chance that it's one or the other. But Miss Ford, she went sub 22, sub 11 on day one for her. And long and behold, at the end of all this, she came out with a runner-up finish in the 100 and a 200-meter national champion title. And I think for her, what stands out to me the most is that after all of this, they ended up scratching that 4x4. But what turns out is that she's been running on a strained hamstring. And I think for her to be able to like overcome the pain of an injury like that and to still come away with not only a title, but a runner-up. I know it's not what she wanted, but she came away with 2 Bs earlier in the week, and she's so young that I'm so excited to see like where her trajectory goes. And she has the personality to match. She was on TikTok live like that day, and I was watching. I was like, okay, get ready with me. But I love her personality in this sport, and she's fat, like sub 22 and sub 11, and she's a sophomore. That's crazy. So yeah, she was a fun one. What are y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, Jamisha is always fun to watch. And I think what I admire about her the most is her mentality. I understand that she was initially recruited to be a quarter miler. So the fact that she was able to drop down and dominate in the way she can in the 1 and the 2 and still run a very, very solid and competitive 400 time as we've seen in her 4x4 splits. What she runs on the 4x4 could probably give her like top top 3, top 4 in that 400 final, if I'm looking at the results right now. So, yeah, she's a warrior.
I think what's most impressive is how many events she lines up for at such a big championship like that. That's also, that takes a lot of, she got to refocus up, like obviously be exceptionally good to race that many different events. Like that's super impressive to me.
Yeah, because before they scratched that 4x4 final, 4x1, 100, 200, 4x4, that's a lot on the body, and she's doing it at such a high level.
Getting her mileage in.
Oh, yeah, isn't she just? And I mean, I was a little concerned after her 200-meter title because she did kind of get off the track a bit gingerly, but I do hope that she's okay, especially in time for trials. Yeah.
I think that's what's also
I
super.
completely agree.
That's really exciting too. Like the NCAA is almost a lot of these athletes we're gonna get to see them at USA's in like a month or two.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her in the 2 potentially, because I know that she was in the 400 final for trials last year. She ran like 50 point. So now that I think she's really focusing up on those short sprints and more so her specialty in the 2, I'm excited to see what she does when it's time to try to make that team.
I agree. I know we don't have much time for many things, but I am going to bring this one up. Samira Moody, she was, I didn't like leading into this, everybody was talking about Miss Ford's 4-peat. Like she could be the first, not the first, but since like Jesse Owens be one of the first to like win 4 titles, which hasn't been done in years. But Miss Moody from USC, like she was in 3 events. Like nobody beforehand, nobody was hyping her up. And then she came out and won the 100, but she was in the 4x1 and she had the 2. Like she didn't have the 4x4. I'm sure they could have thrown her on it, but like she's one person I feel like people were sleeping on, and she came out and took that win in the 100 for sure.
Oh yeah, people were asleep. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little asleep. I'm awake now. She woke me up, threw water in my face. My fault, sis.
Period. I love it. Now we're gonna go over to my Baylor Bear. We have to, and I'm so happy he ran good for me to add him to this agenda of things. But Nathaniel Ezekiel, he went NCAA number 3 all time. He broke his own national record. For context of this picture, it's one of those pictures where he crosses the line and second place is still on the last hurdle. Like it's very rare, and it's not a collegiate record, which is shocking. Rod Benjamin set that record high, but for him to run 47:49 basically by himself is so impressive. And that's Baylor's first 400-meter hurdle title. I am so proud of Nathaniel, and to see Baylor come away with that win, all the coaches were so excited. But to see Nathaniel finally execute, because mind you, indoors this year, he was the favorite to win the 400, but something happened. So I think for him to finally, after all of his years, his final year, come away with the title at the very end, it was definitely fun to see.
He wanted it. He wanted it so bad, because I think it's also super clear that on the collegiate level, he's just in his own lane. I don't think there's anyone necessarily testing him in that. Like there's no like head-to-head rivalry of any sort. So kind of like to the point I was saying with Jamisha, I'm excited to see how he is. He runs for Nigeria, correct? Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does for them on a national level, especially like against your Rise, Carsons, Allison DeSantos, and the sort. But if we're going to talk about the 400 hurdles, I think we'd be remiss to not talk about Jaqueline Scott. He is one of those people where I think he exemplifies what it is to be a true testament of a champion. I think when he got DQ'd from the 110-meter hurdles in those semis because he false started, it would have been really easy for him to just kind of ride off the rest of NCAAs, because he was arguably the favorite in that event. So to come back in his secondary event, come second, personal best, despite, again, not being able to showcase his talents in his last NCAA for the 110-meter hurdles, I think is amazing. It's extremely admirable.
I agree. All right, let's get into a couple fields. We're going to start with the women's 8. I'm sure we are. I watched it. I don't know about y'all, but I was like, I definitely, yeah. So this pick is from like the first day of the women. This is not the final, but I had to pull this pick in here because of the winner is in the front of this pack. But I think my heart goes out to Michaela Rose. She wanted it. She took that first lap in finals out in 56 seconds, which is speedy.
Yeah.
And it was so close to being hers. It was. What's up, Johnny?
This is a bit of a comeback story, though, isn't it?
For the winner?
Yeah, because she had this, like, it's been years, I think, since she PR'd. It'd been like 2022.
Oh.
Isn't that right, Demetra?
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know if I would call it comeback. I feel like she peaked at the right time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
I feel like it's like in this moment, in the final, she qualified, she did what she was supposed to do, and she really just outkicked. Like that's what happened. and she ran her race and stayed true to herself. So I feel, from my perspective, I'm like, you went out there and executed. Now, maybe she does have a story. I just don't know if she had like an injury to battle or anything, but I think
so.
like she ran her race and it paid off.
Love it. Coming away with some gold.
Yeah, running back for Stanford, because we all know it was Juliet Whitaker who won last year. So
bringing it home.
Ran it back for Stanford. I know that's right.
Yeah, and she broke the meet record that Michaela Rose just broke like earlier that week,
2 days prior. 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Who would have thought 158 is going down in the NCAA?
Twice. Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Now for this men's 15 field, talk to me. How are y'all feeling? I know my favorite was out in the first round, but
I think a lot of people's favorites were out in that semis. Shook it up quite a bit. I think maybe people's first, second, third, fourth picks maybe didn't make it. I mean, we had a lot of people, a lot of carnage, a lot of surprises, which made it very interesting. But yeah.
Well, I'll say this: my pick was in the final. Ethan Strand was in the final. I don't know about y'all, but my pick was there.
There's no knock to Ethan Strand, for the record. I just didn't choose that as my winner.
He was my pick for the winner, and I think he just ran out of real estate. I think he took a minute to start running his race. You know how those tactical races can be so challenging, even for the most talented of mid-distance and distance runners. Those tactical races are hard because what it really comes down to is that final kick. Yeah. Who has anything left in the gas tank? Who has the most speed? I think that's what makes it difficult.
That video of the finish was one of the craziest things I'd seen. It looked like a 100-meter final when you had the whole field strung out nearly to lane 8 in a dead sprint to the finish. I really thought this would be my boy Gary Martin's time to shine with all those people ranked ahead of him not making it to the final. But I think he got 5th. But yeah, it was all these boys probably within a second of each other or less. Just gutting it out. I think Harvard got a guy getting bronze, which was
they came 3rd. But ultimately, it was Nathan Green who came out on top. Yeah, Nathan Green, I'm sorry. I was unaware of your game. I'm so sorry. But I love it when you're watching a kick, but you're also watching a man run, and he's like, "You're not beating me. You're not. I see you coming, but you're coming second." So, I mean, shout out to Nathan Green. And I mean, they ran it back in the women's 1500 too with the Washington coming. Wow. Yeah. So, Washington, I remember in Penn Relays, them and Georgetown said the same thing about them being like the best mid-distance program in the NCAA. So, yeah.
It's kind of an interesting rivalry because, like, Washington, Seattle, it's kind of like the rival state up north from Oregon. So I think Nathan interviewing, like, yeah, they don't really like us down here in Eugene, but we always want to try to show up. And, like, I hadn't really picked up on that before, but I think that's an interesting kind of rivalry, that Oregon Washington.
Hey man, I think that's one of my favorite things about just collegiate sports period. It's like acceptable, good old fashioned hate and rivalry that like is just kind of not allowed in the pros because of the sake of sportsmanship and whatnot, but you still gotta have like that team camaraderie in just in an individual sport type of thing. But I love that there's like, okay, because you go to this school, I don't really rock with you for real, and I'm going to beat you.
I'm excited. I hope we'll get to see a lot of these people. Like I said, in a few weeks, it's not going to be the last time we see these folks racing, especially at the top end. We got U.S. trials back at Hayward, I think, next month.
Yeah,
we do. All right. We're going to have to rapid fire through this Diamond League. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of stuff happened this weekend. We're about to get through it. All right. I'm going to start us off with, I'll go in order. So Oslo happened first. We had Nico Young. We had him in the 5,000. He ran a 12:45.27 for a U.S. outdoor record. Y'all got to watch this one like on the show, am I right?
Mm-hmm. We sure
Talk
did.
to me. How was it for you?
It was fun. It was really, really fun. We were hoping that a world record might go down, but they seemed to be off pace, I guess, midway through the race. But no worries. I think the biggest storyline coming from Nico Young's big win in that race is the fact that the current American pool is going to do their best to kind of shorten that gap between America and the East Africans in this distance. Because, again, kind of same thing we were talking about Nathaniel Ezekiel just being in his own lane in terms of the 400-meter hurdles on a collegiate front. On a world-class front, when it came to, like, I think the 3,000 and up, it was just the East Africans and then everyone else racing for second, third, fourth. Or maybe fourth, fifth, sixth more so. But, I think it's going to be very interesting come World Championships.
We've known Nico Young is good. He's been good for a long time, but this was like a massive statement, I think, asserting him kind of as not only a huge player on the American stage, but the international stage. That was so impressive to see, like you said, an American kind of crossing that line first. In a number 2 all time, I think Grant Fisher's the only one who's got him in that 5K. And then we'd be remiss to not mention, in all the excitement of Nico, that also Graham Blanks was a little bit farther behind him with the, I think, number 4 performance all time, number 3 individual all time, which, the boys are on the rise here.
Yeah, the future is bright. I think, especially when we talk about Graham, because this is still his rookie season. Yeah. First time pro, first time on the pro circuit. He ran Grand Slam. He's, doing his Diamond Leagues finally. And I am interested to see how he is when he is seasoned, when he gets his feet wet, when he's really in tune with, his training and how to do it, without that NCAA background season that he had coming into before he declared as pro. So
he's gonna put Athens, Georgia on the map.
Yeah.
You saw that he's moving down there. He's gonna base his training down there.
I would say Athens is still on the map. They got UGA.
Yeah, I was about to say
Athens been on the map. Athens is on the map.
I was like. Yes, I agree. Athens on the map. NCAA's too, they're on the map for sure.
Fair enough.
I'm going to keep us rolling, though, because we got a lot of things for Diamond to talk about. We have Julian Alfred. She opened up in Oslo, 1089. I also got to meet Usain Bolt, which is insane.
Yes,
and then doubled back and ran 1075. Olympic champ opens up her season, and, what a way to do it. It's literally I haven't left at all. I'm Juju, and I'm back. It's just another day, and I'm back doing what I do. Left off right where y'all saw me. I'm so excited for her this season. Her opener, it should be a fun one. Yes. I would ask y'all's thoughts, but I know y'all's thoughts is Julian. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Delila Muhammed, and I'll let y'all take this one away. She won, but it's also her final season with us. How are y'all feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling so good about this, because for her to run 2 back-to-back seasons best, and especially when we talk about Stockholm, that's the fastest time she's ran since 2021, coming behind Femke Bol, who also ran a season's best and a world lead. So we have good things coming from Delila on her final lap. It's going to be exciting. I'm expecting for her to make the team, dominate, medal, and what a way to have such control of your narrative, where on your final lap on a world championship year, you have the power and the ability to do something very, very special for the year 2025.
I'm just seeing her win these races. I'm like, why you got to go so soon?
I know. She's still running at such a top level and such a high level. And from my understanding, she changed coaches recently. So it's working. It's working.
Yeah, I love Delila. She's been in this sport for so long. So when she announced it in Kingston that this was her final season, the kid in me was sad. Because before Sydney, it was Delila breaking record. That's who it was. So it's going to be a sad season, but I can't wait to see her race at USA's, which, it'll be probably her last race in America. So
apparently that was also a Masters world record. I read that somewhere, which is wild.
She's a Masters?
Yeah. I was like, that's crazy.
That's not fair. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how old she is, but whenever I get to her age, I'm going to be sick if I try to run again, and that's the record I have to break.
Yeah.
Then we have Carson Warham, who was also in hurdles, but he did 300 hurdles. He broke his own world record with a time of 36:67. But I also want to take us into Stockholm with this. So we'll go a little back to back, because Carson also ran the 400 hurdles, where Rai Benjamin doubled back from this race and went 46:54 for a meet record. And Nia, I know you talked about it a little bit, but to see Rai win, but also he didn't do that well in 300 hurdles. And the same thing for Carson, but flipped. Talk to me about what's going through your head when it comes to these long hurdles.
I think one thing that went through my head is, again, selfishly as a fan, I love it, because one thing, the Oslo Stockholm meets were so special because of the quick turnaround time. You don't have much time to go home and go back to the drawing board, but you just have to evaluate what you did right, what you did wrong, and how we can replicate that or come back. And I think what happened with Carson was he ran extremely well, and I think maybe he still had some lactic in those legs, or maybe he probably should have practiced a little bit of short-term memory coming into Stockholm. I think he got a little overzealous in the first half of that race, whereas Rai was kind of coming in there was blood in the water, and he was hunting him down the same way Carson was hunting Rye down. And when Rye finished that race, that was a number 10 all-time time in the 400 hurdles. And he spoke to us after. He's like, yeah, I don't really care about the 300-meter hurdles. Yeah. This is my race. And I think he saw what he did right, saw what he did wrong, and executed the perfect race. And I think what makes it even scarier for the rest of the field is the fact that this is his second race of the season. Right. And usually these serves as rust busters, but I'm not seeing any rust. It's like, again, true testament of a champion. So it was cool. And Allison DeSantis was just happy to be there.
I love Allison's personality. I also love Rye. I think it goes back to, like, I'm not old, but like Rye's the collegiate record that I saw break. Like, that's who I know and who he still has it. So I'm so happy to see Rye back. And honestly, 300 hurdles, I think the reason he still dominated in the 400 hurdles is 300 hurdles. I'm not going to say it's not a real race, but it's new on this circuit. Like, the steps are different. Like, everything changes a little bit. You run a little bit faster. Like, things change. So, I mean, I respect the world record in 300 hurdles. I really do. But I expect them to break it every single time because it just came back as a real event, like for real in the professional circuit. So all respect is given, but I'm confident that Rye in 400 hurdles is going to do what Rye does best, and it's win. So it should be a fun one. I'm going to go right into Mondo. Mondo does what he does. He breaks a record not every meet, but like he does it a couple times a year. But he cleared 6:28. This is him by his sign. I love this for him. Mondo's my favorite. The fact that he trains in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and like doesn't jump for America is so funny to me. But this was a fun one for sure.
He was due for a world record.
Well, we can't forget, this is the hometown crowd. Like, this was something he said for years. As many world records as he set, I don't think he had done it in Sweden. Mm-hmm. And so he had his grandma and grandpa out there. Doesn't get better than that. I mean, the home game, the hometown hero. I mean, that was really fun to watch. Clearly, it meant a lot to him. I think we even got to talk to him on the show afterwards.
Yeah. So, I think he kind of hinted at this performance coming, and this performance was loading. When we spoke to him after Oslo Diamond League, he was saying, yeah, it was a pretty good meet. It wasn't pole vault friendly conditions, but I'm expecting something different in Stockholm. And when he said that, I was like, what's different? What are you expecting? And I guess obviously the battery in his back from him being home, and I think the conditions being a lot more ideal for a pole vaulter definitely helped him get to that world record that he was due for. Because it's been like for Mondo, I was like, haven't seen a world record in a few weeks. I wonder if we're going to get one soon. Because we know he's that so caliber funny. Of a vaulter.
That is so funny. That's hilarious. I can't. And he's going to be at Priya, I think. So we might be able to see him too. Maybe I made that up. I'm pretty sure.
I think the odds are good. We'll see a few more, that record bested a couple more times.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I got the over.
Same. All right, we're going to get into this next segment, our Wonderful Pistachios segment called Flavor of the Fast, presented by Wonderful Pistachios. I usually throw to Nia first. I'm going to go first this time, though. All right, so we have the 3 flavors. We have lightly salted, sweet chili, and original. We're going to assign athletes each flavor, but I'm going to kick us off. So I'm going to go with my lightly salted. 2 of mine are from NCAAs. My lightly salted is going to be Jamisha Ford. I feel like that she, although she's young, I know she wanted to win the 1 and the 2. Like, she's not satisfied, and I would love to see her come back at USA's and dominate and make the team young. Like, that would be so cool to see her in Tokyo in one of those 2 events. I'm going to give my sweet chili to Jordan Anthony. We didn't talk about him, but I think he is somebody to talk about. He announced that he's going pro. He ran these really fast times. It was a little wind aided earlier on, but I think Jordan Anthony is on fire and his personality to match. He ran with grills, like 32 teeth, rose gold grills. I think that in itself, like the way that he has swag on the track, like his confidence. Even he was like, oh no, I've seen y'all's videos talking about me, but he was like, I was gonna go in the comments, but I had to like wait till like I ran really quick. But I think for him to like see all of these things and still like back it up, even he was like, I said I could take down this record. He was like, I had to win the 100, even though I didn't like break the record. He was like, they were about to talk about me in the comments if I didn't. So I like him. He's spicy. I love it. I can't wait to see who he signs with. And then my original, I'm going to give it to Delila Muhammed. I love her down. Yeah, there's no explanation needed. It's Delila Muhammed. So those are my top 3. I will toss it over to y'all.
All right. You want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I was on the fence with the salty one. I think my salty athletes probably like those 1,500 boys at NCAA's that didn't make it out of the semis. People that we were expecting to win, like Liam Murphy was probably pretty heartbroken to not make it. But I liked that it also opened up the door for some other folks to, maybe make that podium.
Mm-hmm.
My spicy one, Nico Young. I mean, really making a huge statement, like you said, just. Really asserting American distance running on the international stage, which is something that we haven't always seen. Very, very exciting. And we'll also I'll give kudos to Graham as well for making that top 3 all time. And then my original Donovan Brazier, doubling back with another impressive 800-meter performance. Like we said before last week, he hadn't competed since 2022. Yeah. Really excited to have him back in the mix, just doing what he does. So
yeah, that 143 was special.
Yeah,
I saw that. Let's see. My lightly salty, I think I'm going to go with Hopkins Samuel of New Mexico. He came second twice. He came second in 10,000 to his teammate Ishmael, and then he came second in the 5,000 to Oklahoma State's Brian Masau. And I can just I was salty for him. I'm not sure how he's feeling. I'm not going to put thoughts in his head, but I think after coming second place to Grand Blanks in the NCAA Cross Championships, after kind of losing his shoe and showing all that grit, I was really rooting and gunning for him to win that title outdoor, but he's still young. He's only a sophomore, and I think we have big things coming for cross country, indoor and outdoor for him for the 2025-26 season. But I was a bit salty that he came second both times in both of his distances. I think for my sweet chili, I'm going to go with Rai Benjamin. He lost in the 300-meter hurdles after going out super duper fast, getting walked down by Carson Warham. And in that race, a world record went down, but he double backed in Stockholm like we were talking about, executed the perfect race. Again, 10th fastest time of all time in the 400-meter hurdle, pulled Allison DeSantos to a 15th fastest time all time in the 400-meter hurdles. And I guess, again, echoing what he said when he was like, I don't care about the 300-meter hurdles. I'm a 400-meter hurdle specialist. And then for my original, Julian Alfred, she gets it done every time. No theatrics. She, wasn't happy about the 1089. As amazing as a 100-meter opener as that is, she did not care. She said she did not know what she was doing, what was going on. She wasn't satisfied. And obviously talked to her coach, fixed something, and implemented it in her next race, running 1075. And you can just see by her demeanor that it was what she wanted. And again, no theatrics. You can always count on her to get it done. That is a champion in my original.
Amazing.
I love it. That's solid. I'm kind of jealous of the Julian pick. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that was because for her to even open up like that, and she's in Austin. I love me some Julian.
It's gonna be cool. I think she's running pre too, so it's gonna be. That's the showdown we've been waiting. Her, Sha'Carri. I don't know. Is Melissa running?
She's a Nike athlete, so I don't know how this works, but she's a Nike athlete, so I wouldn't be surprised. It's kind of like how Ja'Cory Patterson was like, "Well, I'm going now that I signed with them." So
yeah.
It should be a fun one.
It's going to be fun.
I love it. Now let's go ahead and go into the best thing that we saw last week. Tyreek Hill raced.
Hey, man.
Noah could never.
The thing is, I think Noah could.
Tyreek doesn't think so.
I love it. He ran with a GoPro too.
What's he doing?
But people were like, well, since he ran, I don't agree, but they were like, since he ran with the GoPro, does that take off time?
What's the GoPro adjustment?
I don't know, but I have two thoughts about this race. It's super impressive because for someone who does not train for professional track and field to buzz out a 10:15 is extraordinary. It's great. That's a competitive time. But then you think about it on the other side, there's people from high school who are running sub-10s regularly legal. So I still want to see the race, but I want to see a competitive race. I want to see how he is. Give him 6 weeks with Dennis Mitchell or something. I want to see him train for this race and then race Noah.
I think that would be fun. Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
I saw someone this morning. Noah had I think he was asked about, he's in Cannes, France right now, for some event, and they said they were like very, very close to making it happen. And I think Noah's had a little bit of an injury come up, but that they were like in final stages of like, I think they were going to do it in Times Square actually, which was
wow.
cool. But I don't think it's the
I know
last
they were
we'll
going to
see
do a
of it.
60. That's what I heard. It was going to be a 60, which I don't want. No knock to Noah. In the 60, like I seen Noah out of blocks. Like if we're gonna do a 60, like I want to see like a Christian Coleman, Trayvon Bromell go in a 60.
Yeah.
So I'm not confident in the 60. I'm gonna be real with y'all. But at 100, I'm confident. And I think even if you give him the training, I think at the end of the day, like he wouldn't have made the NCAA final. Like if we're just going, I mean, we could take conditions into account. Like he wouldn't have made the final at that time. And maybe in the final, he would have placed decently, but it was also cold. Like if we're going to really do weather into it, like Tyreek Hill would not have made the final NCAA. So like, yes, it's fast. And yes, I respect it. And yes, if he trained, and there's all these what ifs, but he is not doing that right now. So I think Noah Lyles, the race, as long as Noah Lyles is where he should be at, he should win. And I hope he does it in Noah Lyles fashion with a little taunting as he crosses the line like he did with, I believe, I Show Speed. So I'm hopeful, I'm confident. And Johnny, I hope you're right. I hope it happens in Times Square. I might buy a flight to New York, both of y'all cities.
Oh, yeah. The greatest city in the world. That's the best place to do it.
Best place to do it.
You know, I could think of some other cities, but I'll work with
They'll start hating Demetra.
I love it. Well, that's a wrap for episode 15. If you're not subscribed to all the things that Flo does, subscribe. YouTube channel, our actual website, all the action. If you want to see anything, follow us and we'll be here. But thank you for watching episode 15 presented by Wonderful Pistachios. Next episode, I'll be back in Austin with y'all.
I can't wait. I miss you, sis.
Enjoy Oregon.